What's up, guys? Welcome back to Wizarding Wiz, your source for everything magical. And today I've got some excellent information about some frequently asked questions about Hogwarts Legacy, the game that we have all been waiting for, the true Harry Potter, or at least Wizarding World RPG. But before we get into it, guys, I've got to kind of cover the dull stuff, because I got to get myself out there somehow. So, do me a favor if you're new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on those notification bells to make sure that you stay up to date with everything that I release on the channel, because I do a bunch of different stuff, and I know that we are all here because we are excited about Hogwarts Legacy, and I definitely am going to be covering that and jumping on it as soon as it is available to us. So guys, while I was searching the internet and various media platforms, trying to find any information that I possibly could about Hogwarts Legacy, because I, just like you, am really looking forward to this game to come out, and I want to know as much as I possibly can, I happened to stumble across their frequently asked questions page on the website, and I thought, you know who needs to know this information? Everybody over on Wizarding Wiz, because that's why they come to me. They want to know this interesting information, and they want the facts. So, let's dive into it. Now, I will be reading right from the page. We will do the questions and then the answers, and we will give you the answers that they give on the website. So, guys, the first and most obvious question is, what kind of game is Hogwarts Legacy? Well, that one's actually pretty simple. Hogwarts Legacy is an immersive, open-world action role-playing game set in the 1800s. Now, this we already knew because of the first video and the trailer. Okay? Now, this puts the player at the center of their own adventure, which of course is what an RPG does. Now, question number 2, who is publishing Hogwarts Legacy? Again, a pretty easy question to answer. That would be Warner Brothers Gaming is publishing Hogwarts Legacy under their Portkey Games label. The game is being developed by Avalanche. Avalanche is a gaming company. I actually play other games by them, and they do a fantastic job. So this game is sure to be amazing. Now, question number 3. This one is the one I've been hoping for a more substantial answer to, but unfortunately, there's not a very big one, and that is, when does Hogwarts Legacy release? Well, as of right now, the only time frame we're given is 2021. We are not told early, mid, or late 2021. We don't know exactly when it's going to be coming out, but judging by the trailer and all of the hype, I think it's safe to say we may see this sometime early 2021, maybe March, April time. If we see it any earlier than that, I would be surprised. If we see it later, I won't be so surprised, but I'm really hoping for like the March, April time. I think that would be a great time to release a game like this. Heck, we might even see it in January or February during these cold, frigid months here in the Northern Hemisphere, but I wouldn't hold your breath on that just too much. Question number 4, I actually answered in my last video, and that was, what platforms will this be on? And there still seems to be a little bit of confusion about this. I keep seeing articles saying that it's only coming for PS5 and, all this other jazz. That's just not true, guys, okay? This is the actual facts. This is coming straight from the site, so tell your friends or show them this video if they don't believe you. Hogwarts Legacy will be available for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro, the Xbox One family of devices, including Xbox Series X and Xbox One X, and of course PC. Now, that one is very exciting for me because I was extremely worried with all of these rumors flying around that it was only for PlayStation. I am a PC gamer, as I've told you in the past, so knowing that it's coming for PC makes me even more excited for the release of this game. Now, question number 5, I think, is a pretty fair question given some recent just some recent comments and statements and things like that made by said person here, and that is, what is J.K. Rowling's involvement into the game, and is this a new story from J.K. Rowling? Well, for those of you concerned about that, J.K. Rowling is not directly involved in the creation of the game. However, her extraordinary body of writing is the foundation for all of the projects of the Wizarding World. This is not a new story by J.K. Rowling. So anybody who was worried about that, anybody who was worried about it for retcon reasons or simply morale reasons of J.K. Rowling's transphobic rhetoric going on, you don't have to worry about that. She really doesn't have a hand in this at all, other than it's inspired by the world that she created. Which actually leads into the next question of, how does Hogwarts Legacy fit into the Harry Potter wizarding world? Well, the answer to that is, while Portkey games are not a direct adaptation of the books and films, the games are firmly rooted in the Harry Potter universe, while remaining true to J.K. Rowling's original work. Portkey game developers chart new territory by creating fresh ways for fans to immerse themselves in the wizarding world. That means we're going to be seeing, guys, a lot more stuff, not just, what we know or what we're used to, but we're going to be getting a little bit extra, and that is the key in all of this, and that's what makes a good game, and especially a good RPG. Now, this next question is actually a bit repetitive of a few of the other questions, but it is understandable, and it is a good question. So, is Hogwarts Legacy an original story? Well, Hogwarts Legacy is an open-world, single-player, action role-playing video game, RPG, set in the 1800s wizarding world. The story has players experiencing life as a student at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, like never before, as they live the unwritten and embark on a dangerous journey to uncover hidden truth of the wizarding world. Now, this to me, guys, says that, yes, in a way it is an original story, but it is not an add-on story. It is not a canon story. This is a story for a video game. This is a story you get to help write and you get to help create. This is your story as a player in this game. This is not something that is set in stone for you to do 100%. You get to decide all of the things that your player does and becomes in this game. And that in itself makes this not only an original, but a unique story as well. And speaking of original, this next question and answer kind of tie into that as well, which is, what is the original story of Hogwarts Legacy? The answer is, players will experience life as a student at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry in the 1800s, as we've said before, as they embark on a dangerous journey to uncover the hidden truth of the wizarding world. They will grow their magical ability by mastering spells, brewing potions, and even taming fantastic beasts. And just to solidify all that, guys, is this very next question of, how do you play Hogwarts Legacy? And this pretty much tells you exactly what I've been saying this whole time, both in my last video and this one, which is Hogwarts Legacy is filled with immersive magic, putting players at the center of their own adventure to become the witch or wizard that they choose to be. They will grow their character's ability and master powerful spells, hone combat skills, select companions to help them face off against deadly enemies, and players will also encounter missions and scenarios that will pose difficult choices to determine what they stand for. So basically, like I've said, guys, this is your choice. If you decide to go down a path of a dark wizard, you can become a dark wizard. If you want to be an auror or a teacher or a magizoologist, you can do those things as well. If you want to be anything in the magical world, it seems like you are going to get a chance to do that, and that is amazing. Now, this question, guys, I know all of you have been wondering. I've actually gotten this one in comments, and I've had people who know me in real life, either via other games that we play or in actual person face to face, have asked me this question several times, and until now I haven't been able to give a very satisfactory answer, just my guess off of what I saw in the trailer and what I read in the article. And that question is, can players choose and switch their Hogwarts houses in Hogwarts Legacy? Now, there's not a whole ton of information, but what it does say is players can choose their Hogwarts house at the start of Hogwarts Legacy, and we'll have more details to share at a later time. So I know that's not the answer everybody wants, but it feels like to me that we're going to get to choose the house we want. So if you've already been sorted, either via Wizarding World or any of the other sortings out there, you can choose the house that you've been sorted into on there. And then I'm assuming, because we see the sorting in the trailer, that we'll get to watch the sorting ceremony, and it'll just kind of go through the motions of the sorting, and you'll get put in the house that you chose. Or maybe it'll be a completely separate sorting, where you actually have to like answer some questions and stuff, and it'll sort you according to how you answer the questions. I honestly don't know, guys. This really doesn't give a whole lot of information, but from what it sounds like, you'll be able to choose the house that you belong to or that you want to belong to, and that is the house that you will get. But that remains to be seen, and as soon as I find out, I promise you, as soon as I find out, I will let you know. Even if it's like a 2-second video where I just jump on and go, yeah, we get to get sorted, or yeah, we pick our houses, or whatever the question is, whatever the answer might be to the question, I'll bring that to you. Regardless of when we get it, I will make sure to let you know 100% for sure, soon as I know. Now, this question seems kind of silly to me. It's been answered a dozen times at least, not only by other questions here, but by the article and even by the trailer that we're given for the game itself. And that is, will you see Harry, Ron, and Hermione? Will we see the Golden Trio in this game? And the answer, the easy, simple answer is no. We're not going to see them in this game because Hogwarts Legacy is set in the 1800s. This is way before the time period of the books. This is even before Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. So we are not going to see really any of that. Now, depending on when in the 1800s, and this is all speculation, guys, but depending on when in the 1800s this movie or this game takes place, we may get to see like, a young Newt Scamander, maybe even like a teenage Dumbledore, possibly a Grindelwald, but I doubt it. I don't think we're going to see really any characters that we know. Maybe some that we've heard of, mentioned as teachers from years past or students from years past or, something along those lines. But I don't think that we will actually get to see any of the big characters that we know. Remember, this is supposed to be a separate story, a pre-story, if you will, that you create, your story. So I think that we're going to see a little bit different of a world in this, and we are definitely not going to see the Golden Trio. This next question is actually one that is very important, I think, personally, because as much as I want this game to stand on its own, I want it to be separate, I don't really want it to break canon all that much. And the question is, will Hogwarts Legacy adhere to Wizarding World lore? And the short answer in that is yes. And their answer is yes. While Hogwarts Legacy is not a direct adaptation of the books and films, the games are anchored in the Wizarding World lore. Avalanche is creating a unique gaming experience that's inspired by the Wizarding World, in which players will find new and unexpected locations, characters, and story elements. So that kind of ties into what I was just saying there, guys. This is going to be your story, but it will be centered in the Wizarding World that we know and love, just not with all the characters that we know, that we grew up with. It's going to be us and the characters that we meet and create. Now, this next question has actually been answered several times as well, and that is, does the game take place only in Hogwarts Castle? Hogwarts Legacy takes players beyond just Hogwarts to new and familiar locations, including the Forbidden Forest and Hogsmeade Village, and I'm willing to bet we're going to get Diagon Alley and a few others as well. And who knows what else we're going to get to see. Maybe we'll get to go to some of the other places like Mold on the World or Godric's Hollow or, who knows? Who knows what we're going to get to see in this, guys? But it's going to be more than just Hogwarts and the Hogwarts grounds. We're going to get to venture out and go and see other places and do other things. And that is, again, pretty awesome. But the last three questions on here, guys, I'm not really gonna bother covering. It's really just about Portkey and Portkey Games. What do they mean and why they chose the label and all of that. And it's pretty basic. Portkey Games is a branch off of WB, Warner Brothers, who owns and produces owns the rights to Harry Potter and produces most of the Harry Potter content that we get, most of the Wizarding World content that we get. So, Portkey Games is the engine that develops and runs those games. So, things like Wizards Unite is under Portkey Games. That new, what's it called, Spells and Puzzles Harry Potter game that's out there, that's kind of like Candy Crush, except you make the thing and it casts spells, that stuff. I haven't played it yet, but when I do, we're going to put it up on here. That is under Portkey Games. And so is, what's that other one? It really sucks. What the hell's the name of it? Hogwarts Mystery. That's it, yeah. And okay, so don't be too disappointed by that. Don't shy away from the game just because they put out some disappointing stuff. Every franchise does. I mean, come on. Not every GTA game was good. Not every Need for Speed game was good. Not every Mortal Kombat was good. It happens. Some games just don't hit mark. But from everything I'm seeing about this, guys, and from what I do know about Portkey Games, having played and currently still playing, Wizards Unite and things like that, and even Lego Harry Potter, although that was not developed under Portkey Games, that was Warner Brothers, just not, it was like pre-Portkey Games. Portkey Games really handles like most of the mobile stuff, but even playing Lego Harry Potter, and you guys can check, I'll put it up on the screen here, or on the end screen, you can go check out the Lego Harry Potter series. You can see that game is actually really pretty cool as well. So, I have very high hopes for this game, in spite of some of the less awesome games that have been released under this label, because hey, you gotta start somewhere, you gotta build up to it, guys, you gotta get where you're trying to go. Alright guys, well I'm gonna wrap it up now because it's been kinda long. If you found this useful, hit that subscribe button and turn on those notification bells, or you can tap on screen somewhere here most likely as well to subscribe to me, and check out these other things that are up on screen and videos and playlists here. I think that you might enjoy them. That's why I put them here for you to watch. And that's all for this one, guys. Until the next time, stay safe and watch out for those Dementors.